If you think we are joking, you are joking with yourself. Hey, again na whatever abatagon cancer abata and I'm a cancer as the message that is reaching us now is very, very massive. Hey, Biafra, get ready for our victory has come to stay. Onye nọ na nna ya zuru ochi, ya osokwa na wee mọgbu nna ya maka na nna sofu ka na-enwe ya adịla enwe ya ebuo. Now the Biafran community has really achieved a lot. So far so good, and I can be very honest with you that this achievement is really giving the zoo a sleepless night. One of the most important things I'm going to share with you guys today is that we have been labeled with so much victories that even our victories now has a big wave concerning what we have. Now, I made a video and I told you that what is it called? The Finnish presidential jet has just arrived to Biafra land, and this is just the beginning of what it is. But let me come into contact with this because, you know, if a man had like a wow, you was actually covering if he neku, Nimali if he neku. The Kedunke was yoku, on Kaikulu, on Kaikulu was yoku. We need to find out this certainty. That's what makes us what we are today. It has gotten to our very own notice that the coming of this jet into the Biafran airspace is to warn the zoo again, and again and again. Because stories have had it that most times as we continue to try to convince ourselves that these enemies who have now become bigotries in one way or the other have now had a test of their own medicine. And so be it. I hope someone gets convinced over all this ridiculous pride, whatever the case may be. We have been shown so much along the line, along the genesis of the treaty, and what can be productive in our chase of freedom. This is why I keep saying it, that leave Simon about where he is. He knows what he's doing. This guy Magadifo Neme, he understands what he does. It is not matchmaking or whatever you're going to call it. This dude understands everything the zoo is running away from. And that is why without disrespect, with no disrespect, without convincing ourselves, with our little minds, I must tell you this whole truth. That word for word, we are finally coming to that very point where we say Biafra restoration is now the biggest attribute. So the zoo understands this and they are doing whatever they can do to stop it. So the arrival of the jets alone has really sent cold to Asorok. And that's where their problem starts from. We begged them this thing peacefully. You know, when we came out, and we told them that this thing that you are doing, eventually you're going to shoot yourselves in the leg. Because at the end of the day, who's going to lose? It is still you. You get the point? It is still you that will lose it. So whatever the case may be, we must understand that this very articulation or whatever they call it cannot convince Biafrans into submitting what belongs to them. And that's where the message gets clear. That words have become lies. And lies have taken over our words. But we must stand still to tell the world who we are. Celebrate. The Finnish community, one of the biggest exploits, had just arrived the Biafran soil. You can see their airline already, Finnair, already in Biafran land, and the begin process has just been made mandated. We must tell ourselves this very truth as we continue to push towards this one angle to another angle. You see, I must tell it to your face that the time for victory has come, and everyone around is already seeing the very big news that most of them fail to see when we are calling their notice. Because most times in life, you just try as much as possible not to disrespect anybody, but you continue to push what truly belongs to you. That's what makes you a true Biafran, a true fighter, a true giver. If you ask me what I should say from here and from henceforth, I will tell you that Biafra victory is already close by. I can only put Adelizi Wadi Makano, onye jụrụ ajụjụ ajụjụ wee kweta na gịnị na ajụjụ ọ jụrụ asago ye. We are now communicating to ourselves one of the biggest antecedents of our faiths. So therefore, whatever that is coming to Biafra now is not a new deal, but one of the biggest part of it is the Zonac arrangement that we have continued to preach for a very long time. Freedom is not given, it is gotten, it is taken, it is, you have to do everything possible to make sure you get freedom. That's just it. So this arrival of the Finnish, whatever the case may be, has really embodied Biafras into the world map. And that's what tells you the biggest story here, which is we cannot possibly add ourselves up in the name of whatever the name is, but we must continue in every actual sense to dilute and digest and make sure that nothing loses its senses of procedures, because what it truly takes to become free is not far from freedom itself. So let's be guided as we continue to communicate to ourselves and to one big body. We must understand, without disrespecting anyone, that one of the most important part of knowledge is seeking. And once you seek, you get. Once you get, you seek. So welcome them with full chest. Welcome them with full chest. And that's where the storyline begins. And I must tell you for free that this is the time to put Biafra in the world map, because whether you like it or not, Biafra is already making a whole lot of space, theoretical space that will be figured out in no time. And that's what makes sense to Biafrans. That when we finally win this battle, we'll look at our brothers and sisters far and beyond and tell them the truth. That there was a time when all hope was lost, but Biafrans stood their ground and said to themselves, this is not the time to give up. The arrival will commence, and the meeting of those who